Hello, in this week's episode we're looking at part 2 of Shepton Mallet, and by we, I mean myself and my glorious teammate Lucy. Hello Lucy.
Hello.
This is the sleeping section, and it has one incident that we're going to dig into. We got the infirmary in this episode. We were talking about why didn't they go to places that have been on other investigations, but yes, we did get that. Not to bang on about those windows, but we got a lot of good shots of those square windows we were talking about last week. And now it's just like, who knows if that light could have been from one of those. But, you know, they were everywhere. So Alex is in A Wing this week, Chelsea in the infirmary. So let's go to Chelsea's first noise.
A lot of sickness. A lot.
So yeah, straight away we've got a little noise there, and didn't sound like a door as such, but as you and I know, there's stones and all sorts of things fall when we're investigating.
Yeah.
But when you sat there in silence for so long, I suppose you're glad of anything, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I wonder whether, you know, if me and you were sat either end of a building, I'd like to think that the first ghostly presence we encountered was a murmur or, you know what I mean, a noise that wasn't just like a random bang.
Yeah.
So Chelsea does something that I liked.
So I'm going to...
And it was that she tapped around in the dark for her equipment. And I was like, yes, what a great way to show us that she's in the pitch darkness, you know? Pitch black, and that's why haven't they done that? You know, that's what shows you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or walking forward and putting your hands out. It's like, oh yeah, I get it. That did make me think, yeah, she can't see a thing because she wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, because usually they're relying on the night vision in the viewfinder.
Yeah,
so...
and that's have you walked around with just night vision on?
Yeah.
It's awkward, isn't it? It's not wide, and it's a tiny little screen. You can't see everything, and it is a dangerous way to walk about, you know. Especially when you're out in the woods or somewhere. Anywhere, I suppose. Everywhere's got trip hazards, hasn't it?
Just tell me something about this building. Won't?
So, yeah, the first word is won't. I wondered whether that was good evidence or not, whether it seemed to be communicating with her. Because it's a funny choice of words, isn't it?
Like they're saying, we won't speak to you. We won't...
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, it's interesting.
Because we've had spirits where they're like, no, we're not talking to you tonight. You know.
One inmate was brutally murdered by another one. Lie.
Told.
Lie told. Even. You were getting even with this person? What was it exactly that you were getting even for? Murder? You were getting even from this guy murdering someone else. Murder your friend. You would retaliate with the same thing. Whoa! Holy shit!
So it said lie and told, like a lie was being told, and, you know, even, getting even, murder, and then a thud, which eventually it also said truth. So I don't know. It seemed less random.
Yeah. It seemed like a full conversation with then a little bit extra, like, physical evidence at the end, which is, it's hard because obviously my thing with these voice apps is that they're random word generators, but then if you think about the amount of chance you've got of it making sense, it's quite low to be able to have a conversation like that. Yeah, baffling.
We don't know what words are in there, though. If it's got plant, table, hedgehog, you know, you don't know the boundaries, do you? Because it could be, if it's completely random, which we know it's 2,300 words now, murder in a prison and lie, get even. I know he wasn't making a bit of a leap, but I made the same leap. I was like, about getting even with someone. You know, he mentioned that somebody was brutally killed in this area. It's like, come on, it's a prison. Every prison's got that sort of thing going on. Tanner, we got a Tanner, and he gets a little noise, and then a noise like a metal door, another tap. Tanner like jumps to his feet, or at least gets defensive. You know, you can tell he's nervous, and he's in the dark, obviously. So that feeling of something could be coming close.
I think that's the most scared I've ever seen him. You could really tell that he was petrified.
Yeah, he went into I'm gonna hit it, you know. But then it gets freezing cold, which I think you can relate to as well. That feeling of, whoa, that's spiritual, isn't it? Surely that's something we would say can be ghostly.
Yeah.
So again, it's like what do we as a team take forward, you know? And I'd rather have a noise of walking, and I'd rather have a feeling in our bodies than be trying to wonder what the SB7's talking about. Do you know what I mean? Do you feel the same, or?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Because I think it's still as valid of an experience if you can't portray it to other people, but if you all experience it together, then it's, you know, it's just hard because you can't really document it in any way.
No. So yeah, Chelsea gets the word won't 3 times, which again is like, that's interesting. We don't normally, we get repeated words, but not in on the same night, generally speaking, and certainly not 3 times. But is that just the pattern of random that eventually, you know?
I don't think so though, because if you think it's 1 in 2,300 to get it once.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I don't know, I'm no mathematician, but I would think that the chances of it being the same word out of the same 2,300 a second time in a row would be a lot less of a chance than 1 in 2,300 again, wouldn't it?
Now,
the probability of it.
I know what you're saying, because we played D&D and we're rolling 20-sided dice, and Jake's rolled like 3 20s in a row, which is the maximum. And we were like, what are the odds in that? And, you know, he's all mathematician, and he's like, oh, the odds is this. But the thing is, when people say something amazing happens, and somebody says, what are the chances of that? It's like, well, 100% because it just happened.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like as if it can never happen. It just happened, so it must be fairly able to happen.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why it can't. Why can't it say won't 3 times? It's just that you wonder what's going on there.
Yeah, because I don't think the programming behind it, then that happening is interesting, because I wouldn't think there's much more programming to it than just spit a random word out at random intervals.
Yeah.
If that is the case, and then it's come out 3 times in the same night, it is quite a bit more intriguing than just random words keep coming out. Yeah. If that makes sense.
But then I'd say the word selection, if you're really going to labour the point, the word won't is a vague word, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, thanks for being clear on it.
Yeah, you'd think they'd hammer a word like murder or love or something.
Yeah.
Several pieces of equipment in here with me. Right now, I'm going to whip out the music box. If there's someone in here and you want to get my attention, all you have to do is move and walk around in this general direction. Yes, exactly, just like that. Can you stand in front of it for longer? Okay. Can you make that music box go off if I'm talking to a guy, a male? Can you make the music box go off if I'm talking to a woman, a girl? Can you make the music box go off if you are the woman in white? Okay, that answered me before I even asked. Thank you. If you are the woman in white, can you make it go off? Being the woman in white. Can you please step in front of that device for even longer? Can you try to make it... Yes. I have the freaking chills right now.
He's talking to the music box, and he sort of just does the good thing of saying go off again, and it does, and he says that, can you do it a longer time, and it goes off for a longer time. That's compelling.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
He says, are you a fella? No. Are you a woman? And then he grabs the walkie and it goes off, and I thought, I wonder if he's pressed it, but he didn't keep it. He wouldn't have kept his finger on it. Because it went on for a long time then. Kept activating. But it kept activating to the point that I was like, whatever you ask out over this, it's just blipping, so you're going to think you're getting affirmatives. Because when you're talking to camera, it's still going off. But you might have chosen to say, are you a woman in white? Do you miss your partner? You could have asked a bunch of questions and got all affirmatives you know.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I do like that music box.
I do, yeah. When I first saw that scene, I was mindful of the reflective surfaces on the other side of the room.
Right.
Not necessarily the edge of the door frame, but I think there's some fire extinguishers at that other end.
Yeah.
And so I was just watching, not that I thought he'd do it on purpose, but I was just seeing how he was moving, because I thought if the light blocks out from his shadow, it might think it's movement, but he was completely still, and there was his movements weren't in unison with that going off. So yeah, I think it was cool. And the fact it didn't go off at all when he asked if it was a man, very interesting. But yeah, I see what you mean when it starts just going like blip, blip.
Yeah.
If you're noticing a pattern, it can become a narrative, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like the Ouija board, isn't it? You have to make sure it goes to no letters, but not beyond yes, before you ask a question. Otherwise, you'll say, "Oh, it said yes."
Yeah.
Choke, and then the word expect. Should I be expecting to be choked? I do not want that at all. Please do not choke me. What else could happen to me if I stay here? Kill?
So another compelling PS device, really.
Yeah.
You know, kill in a prison, and I didn't expect, and I don't think that Alex expected to be choked. So can you imagine? I sort of wished, yeah, please, choke him. You know what I mean? Well, that's what you want, isn't it? Is to be like, would he really pretend to be being choked? Or,
No.
I don't think so. I doubt it. So we were talking about we need to look at what the words exactly the PS device is spitting out on these investigations when we were talking about it before. And none of them are really that random.
No.
But then my other part of my brain saying, yes, but because they're all negative words, as you say, Chris, that they all fit in a violent, brutal prison environment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think as well, with regards to other locations, a lot of these locations that we go to as ghost hunters tend to be the ones with the darker history. Because that's how they get a name for themselves of being haunted. And so equipment like that is designed for those locations. So it would be cool if like it came up with things more like restraint, handcuffs.
Handcuffs, yeah.
You know, like metal bars, metal and then bars, or, you know, and they keep talking about this. There's always a lady in white, isn't there? But like if it said white dress or heartbroken,
wedding.
That would be wedding, yeah. That would be nice to see, because like wedding and stuff would be a positive word, but in that scenario would make sense and it isn't a positive.
What the was that? Yo, what the Who just closed the door? Okay.
For me, seeing Tanner's physical reaction and him being really breathy, and so basically seeing his fear was better than having any words come out of a device. You know, it's like on the one hand he is that doggo and he's got a job to do. He's filming, but you can see he's like, who's that? You know, and that's something I wish I could see more of. You remember when it started out, it was Destination Fear, and it wasn't really about ghost hunting as such. It was all like testing your fear. And that seems to have been dropped in favour of We're the New Ghost Adventures. Yeah,
it's hard, I think, because they probably have to have an idea of how they're going to structure the episodes, don't they? So I know there's a lot of the fun stuff in there, but I agree with you. I think that it is missing those authentic moments of like actually shitting yourself.
Yeah.
And I think Chelsea's getting back to that with some of the things she's been doing. I think she's getting back to like, I think her tolerance of fear has increased, so she's having to push herself a bit more. Maybe that's the same with the others as well. It's taking more to really scare them. Maybe that's it.
You know, we've often said this, both of us, that Chelsea is such a badass. But I think she's outgrown, or seems to be outgrowing the team. She's off on her own, and she'll put herself in scary situations confidently, and yet then come out and go, "I were actually terrified then." And I don't know. I think I'd watch a series with just her investigating, to be honest.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah.
So I think we get a clip of that here by the looks of it, when she goes to the governor's office on her own, and entering a building. Once you're outside, it's like, oh, I can breathe a bit, but then walking into the next door is like, oh, it's suffocating and in darkness.
I am in the building next to the infirmary. Pretty sure this is like where the governor's house is, or the governor's room, the governor's office. So I'm going to take some photos. Not seeing anything of significance here.
So yeah, what a brave lady. I would say, watching that again, that she's braver than I am, because I think I'd be more obviously scared. And she's sucking it up, isn't she? She's good. And then she takes photos and gets nothing on her pictures, but I love the fact that she's trying something, and it really makes me think, oh, I'd love like other members of our team to get to that point. You know? I think if I sent Jill, Abby or Becky off on their own, I think they would be able to do it. But then to have them, I'd like to picture them off investigating, thinking, right, I'm going to do this EVP session, I'm going to take these photos. You know, I think there's some things like that might be like, oh, I don't want to be asking out. I'll go there, but I don't want to do too much, you know.
Yeah, I think we need to have more of a proactive mind and not let the fear overcome, like get in the way of experimenting with things. Because if you are scared, the best way to look at it is, well, if I do this experiment, it might prove that it's not a ghost, so then I'll be fine.
Yeah,
that's how I try and look at it when I have to put myself in a scary situation. I'll just think, oh well, I'm just trying to like debunk it.
Yeah.
So it's probably not a ghost, and then if it turns out I can't debunk it, then yeah, you're allowed to shit yourself and run away.
I'm gonna take a bunch of photos. Can you step out and show yourself? Oh my god, dude. I think I actually got something. I need Tanner to come in here because I'm freaked out.
Yo, what the That's a person, Al.
Like, look at this. There's nothing down there. It's supposed to be right next to the door.
Yep.
Nothing. And then when you go to this first photo I took of it, head, chest, jacket, like...
That's the most terrifying photo we've ever gotten.
Okay, that's the most terrifying photo we've ever gotten. Nothing in me found that interesting in the slightest. What was your knee-jerk response to that?
I got up and paused it and rewound it a couple of times because I thought they must be seeing something I'm not seeing. I personally was really annoyed because I think him sitting there and looking, you can debunk exactly what it is. I can't even defend that as, or maybe they just didn't see what it actually was. I actually think this is the first time where I've been like, you're intentionally making it look like something that you know it's not. And I hate to say that. I do hate to say that.
It did seem played up. It felt like, are you looking at the same photo that I'm looking at? I was waiting to see like a figure in front of the things we could see. Like, oh, am I not? Is there a haze there? Is there an outline that I'm just not, eagerly? I'm obviously not seeing what they're seeing because all I can see is what's there. But, okay, It's dark. We've worked with cameras, don't we? And when you take a picture of the darker and darker bits where the night vision doesn't catch, your camera does all sorts of work to make it try and be seen when you blow it up, when you blow it up especially. And then they even go so far as seemingly to put a filter to try and clean it up on. I mean, then you're in the world of you can make what you want of those pixels.
Yeah.
I was, the more I thought, okay, I'm just going to wait to see what becomes of what they show. And then I might go, oh yeah, I see it now. It never came. Now I'm just going to try and bring up some photos. So this is when the flash goes off, the actual photo he took. And that's why it's quite lit up because this is the moment. And that light carries down the walls, hits the radiators, hits the door frame. There's nothing especially spirity stood there, is there?
No.
So there doesn't seem to be anything of interest on that photo, but that is the photo that we're ripping apart. So this is the picture what his camera saw. And again, all the reflections, the extinguishers, the hand thing on the wall, whatever that is, that circular thing. No ghost especially, but if these are the dots from the top of the extinguishers and stuff. And as I zoom in, you can see that, the camera struggles to interpret what's there.
Yeah.
The white of the door. And there's reflection on here as well. This could reflect even off that door. In that flash, in the flash, you could get images there, but this is what basically he shows right here. And I'm like, well, why don't you, by now you should be going, oh, I see what's happened. But
Yeah.
It didn't. That bothered me, that.
I think in the moment it's a choice that I think they made to run with it. And I've been in situations where I've been like live streaming on my own ghost stuff when I used to do that. And people will send me pictures of the wall behind me and they'll see a face in it, which is just your brain doing what your brain's supposed to do, which is to find something in nothing, just in case it's a danger or something, or, and in that moment, I've had to decide, am I going to let my viewers think, oh yeah, that's a really haunted place because there's a face on the wall and we've seen it? Or am I going to say, well, no, and explain how, why that happens? Like, it's pretty cool, innit? But it's not actually a face. It's just some damp on the wall. And I've always gone with, it's some damp on the wall. I know that I'd probably get a lot more viewers and a lot more potential to maybe earn some money doing it if I allowed, not led people down the garden path, but allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it is a decision, and I really do think that they know that that's not a ghost, that's a fire extinguisher being reflected off.
I think they know it. No part of me thinks they're that innocent after this long.
No.
That they've, and that's really knocked my confidence in them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I love them as people. But
I do. And I won't stop watching them, but I think it makes me think, I still don't think they would actively do something to make us think a certain way, but I do think that their reaction to this opportunity has gone the wrong way. Does that make sense? I don't think they've thought,
they don't fake
people.
it.
No.
Ahead of time, they don't say, let's put this here. They don't set up.
No.
But like you say, a choice was made there, and it's going to hurt them more to go, oh, it's just this stuff here. Shall we even include it in the episode? It's just some fire extinguishers and stuff and the low lighting. If Dakota works with cameras, which all his credit's a cameraman, he knows without a shadow of a doubt about this. When he's editing, he's everywhere. That means he should have all the answers.
Yeah.
And he went, no, Connor, put that in. Leave that in, it's good.
Yeah. And he knows more than anyone about... I can understand maybe Alex and Tanner getting a bit... Because they were so scared...
Yeah.
Getting quite, carried away with the situation in that moment. But the fact that Dakota and Connor will know a lot more about perspective, and where he took that picture from was sat down on the left-hand side of the corridor, facing towards that door and the staircase, knowing that what actually has created that illusion is only about, what would you say, 4.5 foot tall, where them fire extinguishers are in the thing. Will make it look so much taller and human-like. So it's sad.
But like you say, defending Alex and Tanner, they're looking at it on a phone screen in that size. It probably did look like, ooh, is there something there? That's weird. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But now that it's gone through editing,
and it's still in there.
And it's still like, ooh, yeah, I think they've played into it. They've made a choice and gone, oh, our viewers, some of them will be all over this.
Yeah.
Even though really we think it's probably nothing.
Yeah. But it's again, like, I think it's better to be include it in the episode and say, wow, we really thought this was something.
What do you think? Yeah.
And then down the line, when something insane might happen, people are going to be like, well, shit, it's taken us a while to get to some, like, crazy evidence, but we've trusted you along the way because you've been honest about everything, so now we can believe that is what you say it is.
See, I'd rather them say, well, we presume it's this equipment, but for all we know, there could be go the other way. We imagine it's nothing, but hey, here it is. We don't know that it's not a ghost. I prefer that.
I do.
We can't say for sure, but it's probably not. And also, why would it appear in that split second when the flash appears? It's not there on the other photos.
Yeah.
It's only there, you've got to mess with it to get it to be interesting. Yeah. Okay, move on, because let's see what else they have. Yeah, interesting light. Looks like a camera flash, I suppose, maybe?
Yeah, or it reminded me of, when you lock your car and it just goes...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's a good one.
Yeah.
He sort of does say in a second about, hey, I thought it might have been one of the guys going to change their batteries in their equipment, So we do now know, that was an admittance that in between the things that we don't see is, my batteries have run out, I've got to trek. And that's like, do the others often hear you? If you can imagine us being on site, and if I know that if I'm walking around and I end up encroaching on your area, you're going to be like, who's that? And I'm like, it is me, it is me.
Yeah.
But sound can carry, can't it? And sometimes I think viewers might think, well, they sit there and that's it, they stay put, so there's no chance that, well, no, they've just admitted there, it could be anybody walking around. My batteries have run out,
Yeah.
Let's go back to, I need a drink, a coffee, I need a wee, they've got to have those breaks. But yeah, a flash. Interesting. And Dakota does end up walking around, and Chelsea they all end up walking around because it's a long night, isn't it? And they've got to sit in that huge expanse. You may as well. You want footage. You need to search for moments, don't you?
Yeah.
I just don't want them creating moments, like you said.
Yeah.
So Chelsea goes in the hole, the hole that we mentioned last week. Let's look at that.
What is that? What? What is in there? Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna check it out.
I'm definitely going to check it out. What a badass.
What the fuck? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, this is definitely one of the original cells. Oh my gosh, you can see all the way through. Like, these were the original cells. I'm taking out the Ovilus to see if there's anybody in this old cell that wants to communicate. It's crazy to think that in the beginning they would put men, women, children, pretty much everybody in one cell. Like, people were multiple. Were there multiple people put in here? Do you know what other people did to get put in here? Many.
She gets nothing else after that, but, she stood there and got nothing. She climbed in like, I'm getting in here. She's great.
Yeah.
Then it said multiple, and you're like, that makes sense. They don't know how, well, apparently they don't know how many cells they actually uncovered there. They only opened them up and were like, there's loads. They went a few in and they put that prosthetic hand in for sure, and of course the commenters were like, did anyone see that? What was that? But it is just always partly there.
Yeah.
And how did people, whatever question she asked, it was like, many. Seemed pretty good. I wonder what else would we have liked it to do in there? I suppose just ask for knocking, because you know that no one's back there. A whistle or something else like that. Yeah.
She did so well. It was like she came across the hole in the wall that looked creepy, and within 15 seconds, she's in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fair play to her.
Yeah.
Do you have a name?
His finger is on the top there, and I looked at an image which I'll put on this video, and the microphone, I think it's this end rather than that end, but it's still scraping on it.
Holy shit! Hello? Whoa! Yo! ton of footsteps. Hello? I'm telling you, dude, I don't feel alone down here. Oh, I do not like this cell block, man. Okay, right before that happened, I was doing a digital recorder session.
I asked the question, is there someone in here with me? And I heard you say yes. Do you have a name?
You see, a lot of the time, you hear that noise and they'll say it says a certain word. But on this time, I'm waiting for him to say, oh, it sounds like... And he just said, oh, it just made a noise. I don't think we can tell as well as they can tell.
Yeah.
Do you know it doesn't transfer over the audio well?
Yeah, I think that's what it must be, because I think we've said before, haven't we, that they must be able to hear it much better than we can for us to only sometimes be able to tell what it's supposed to be saying. But that one sounded like every other one to me. But to him, it obviously just sounded like or something.
Yeah. But there was something there. There was one of those noises. Another good. He said footsteps, and again, I didn't hear any footsteps, but he's in the building and I'm not. Although quite a lot of the time, I think that many ghost teams I watch, there'll be a thud, and they'll always say footsteps, because that's the most... Describing a thud as a footstep is much more enticing, like we've said.
Yeah, or they all start screaming after the first footstep, so to us it's a thud. To them, to us it's a thud, and then, oh my God!
Yeah.
So maybe it's footsteps, we just don't hear the rest of them.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? When you're filming it, I suppose your reaction is the more important than the evidence, whereas I think you need to go in being like, I'm going to be so silent, which is when I do like it when they turn, like Chelsea's done it before, she'll turn to the camera like, not saying anything, but being like, can you hear that?
That's the best way, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was last week or the week before, she was experiencing noises and she actually went like that. Yeah. And we heard loads of it because she forced herself to, and it's not easy in the moment. I know it's easy to say just be quiet. But, no, because if you can hear something walking towards you or tapping that and there's nobody meant to be there, you're going to have some sort of a reaction. It's just trying to learn to make that your reaction.
Yeah.
Do the spirit box right now. This is a device that scans radio frequencies at a rapid rate, and it's believed to pick up spirit voices. If there's somebody in here, you can use this to talk to me like you were earlier. I am here right now. Or something. I don't know what that says.
I'm with it. Oh wait.
Does it go away? Do you want me to go away? Are there any guys here with me? Is there any messages you want to give me? Anything you want to get across?
There's something.
There's just so many different spirits here. I'm definitely talking at times to this woman, but there's also this man coming through.
Recommend.
That was a girl saying, I don't recommend that.
Right, Lucy, what's your view on what was going on there?
I can see what he's hearing. I can hear it. And I think a lot of the responses, again, were over multiple sweeps. But like you said, some radio stations are between... It could be 5 different. Yeah. But it was interesting that when it was only women, and then when he specifically asked for a man to respond, it was a male voice. I like that he did that.
Did you notice that it was woman? Then it fast forwarded, so they cut out all. Well, they kind of showed it, so that there was an edit. Later on, a guy came through. It's like, well, yeah. Eventually, it would. If you'll indulge me, I just want to do a couple of minutes Spirit Box right live.
Yeah.
So if we're saying that we should ignore the fact that it's radio, as if spirits are answering using, I don't know what the radio, whatever the radio has said in the past, I don't know. So, volume. Okay, is anyone here with us today? Can anyone say something? I could say, "Was that hello? Hi."
Yeah.
If you're there, can you say what your name is?
I'm welcome.
Welcome. Welcome to you. I'd love you to speak through this. Tell me about yourself. Free? You're free? Can you describe me? I don't know. A bald man? How many spirits are here today? Yes? How many though? Can you say Lucy? So, I don't know what that's going to sound like in the edit, but I guess in the moment you sort of hear what you want to hear, don't you?
Yeah.
But I heard music. We don't hear music on the programme.
No.
Probably edit that out, I like to think.
Yeah, because we get it everywhere, every time. So they must get it as well.
Yeah. So I think it's down to the editing, the selective editing. And also, you kind of know when you're going to get something because the radio stations try and keep away from each other. So it's bird, it's like spaced out. They're not all in a bunch and then there's nothing for 10 minutes,
If we really wanted to geek out, we could. Depends how much effort you want to put in, but we could have multiple people recording the same 60 seconds of radio stations within however far we decide, and then have somebody doing the box sweeping between those channels asking a question and then going back and seeing what they actually were hearing.
That's true. You could do that. You could record if there's 3 channels, let's say, between this and this, and we're only going to pay attention in those zones, we could marry up the clips with the words spoken. That is
And it tells you on the screen where you are, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. We match up the frequencies. Yeah, that's pretty cool if we wanted to dig that deep, yeah. Yeah. Oh well, see how that looks in the edit.
Longer. Does that bother you?
I hear yes, and then leave, and leave. Oh, dude! What the fuck, dude?
I think that's the mic. Can you see my cursor?
Yeah.
So I actually looked at the device online. There's pictures of it. Oh, you know what I might be able to do? Just show you on the camera, because it's a Panasonic DR60. Don't know how well you can see that, but this ... is the microphone there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So we know that yes, the microphone is on top. Where's Lucy gone? There. £2,700 they are going for, and every other dictaphone you look. Like the model above and the models near it are like £20. What a scandalous rip-off. It's like they're the only one that picks up voice phenomena. Yes, it's because they're shit. That's why that is.
What year were they brought out in? Surely early 2000s.
Old. It's old, yeah. It's old because that's why it's so good. Because it's just crap, innit?
Yeah. You would think the newer the technology, the better.
Yeah, you said that same thing about my Tascam.
Yeah, and we get naff all on it because it's good.
Yeah, release. I wonder whether it says when it came. Yeah, but we know why. It's just old and rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody wants them because they think that's the answer, and it's not. It's just another muddy waters device.
Yeah.
So I'll leave this episode a bit heartbroken, and I don't know if I'll ever quite feel the same about these next episodes, but, I'll keep watching them because I do support them.
Yeah.
And, they could change back. They could become the most sceptical at any moment they decide.
And I think it's a learning curve as well, isn't it? I think
It is.
you don't only learn things in the first few years that you're doing something. They've been on YouTube now for quite a while, and they might take on board feedback that they get and think, oh yeah, do you know what? And it's not the worst thing to do, is it? Just glaze over something. That's literally all it is. But I hope they don't take it badly, because we'll always support them. But yeah, like you say, hopefully they'll think just maybe a bit different next time something like that happens.
Yeah, somebody online commented on the video saying about there were orbs, and they don't seem to really mention the orbs, and why don't they? And I said because they know that it's just dust.
Yeah.
They've seen it enough times. They've been on site with it in the torchlight. They know they can rule it out as dust. And this woman just said, yeah, well, sometimes the special ones that aren't dust. And I just thought, I can't be bothered,
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people believed in when digital cameras and uploading pictures to the internet was quite new. It's been debunked by so many people, and I think the only people that still lend anything to it are psychics who do online readings and want you to believe that there's something in a picture you've taken or they've taken, or when you go on these group ghost hunts and they want you to feel like you've got something paranormal out of the evening. They love it if you get some dust in your picture, because they'll say, oh, that's Tommy, the evil spirit on the top floor. Used to be the janitor. Like, it's unfortunately, I think there's, and even if it was something, there's too much dust to say, why is that one special? What's so different about it? Nothing. And you can even get bits of dust that are like the right distance from the camera that you can make shapes inside the dust.
Yeah, and
faces even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a hard hobby, and I mean, I guess we're lucky that there's no one to try and impress other than ourselves. Do you know what I mean? We're unknown to the world. It's free to put on YouTube so we can share what we do to watch back ourselves more than anything. But yeah, it's never going to be fully proved. I mean, when anyone's had the best evidence, it's just a story to everybody else, isn't it? So...
Yeah. What's shocked me this week as well is, I don't know if you've seen all these, not UFOs, but stuff flying around. Loads of people have seen them recently, especially in like New Jersey and stuff.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding really funny is no one's got a good enough camera to zoom in on these things. Nobody can tell what they are. Nobody, and I've got to a point now where I'm just like, oh, shut up, whatever. I'm not bothered unless one comes and lands in my garden and an alien comes out. I'm not interested. And I think I get like that with ghost hunting sometimes as well, because like you say, everything that you experience is just a story. And we just hope that one day we will capture something. But then if we say this all the time, if we get a really good video of a ghost walking up to the camera, everyone's going to say it's fake, it's AI, it's da-da-da-da. So you just have to enjoy the moment, don't you? And have the stories to tell. And then your audience who are into the same stuff as you enjoy listening and watching. Is
it the end of ghost evidence now that AI is that good that it can create a picture? Or, in the next 5 years, let's say, if it can fully replicate my face and voice, then when we sent this video off to Kodak and they couldn't say, well, yeah, no, there wouldn't. There's nothing, it's not been tampered with. It was generated from nothing to look like that. So they're not going to know it's false.
I think you can tell, though. I think if you sent a file to a professional...
Oh, because of the digital encoding, and when they go in the program, they can see that it's fingerprinted, isn't it, really?
Yeah, because, like,
AI.
I know
It says AI.
Colin works with AI now at work, and I said to him, I don't know how it scares me. And he said, no, it's not as intelligent as you think it is. It's just, people are training it. But he said, you can always tell when something's AI. to the normal person, if you're scrolling on social media, you might not know a video is AI. But if someone needed to look at it to see if it was or not, it is easy to, apparently.
All right. Okay, so that my argument falls down there, but I think modern society, Facebook society, the evidence used to be it was taken with a photograph and it had to be manipulated, whereas now you can, when Photoshop came through, everyone's like, that's clearly photoshopped, or it's one of these ghost apps. You know, in the future, 5 years' time, when you can create it from AI and it's like, it'll look amazing.
Yeah.
Are we doomed to never, be able to prove that ghosts exist? Because everyone will be just like, yeah, it's AI.
Yeah, maybe, because that video that you shared with me, what was his name who made that video about Project Fear? Whereas
Mythos Paranormal, yeah.
So I didn't agree with him, I'll say that, but I did watch his video, and the way that he showed how things like this could be faked is very interesting, because with little things like that, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't, like he was saying, that you could, so I could stand here and say I'm ghost hunting now. I could go, whoa, and then in the edit, they could put a sound in. Yeah. And then my reaction marries up with it. And really all that is acting and editing, which is
easy, isn't it?
There's plenty of people that are good at that. So I do agree with him that it could be very easily edited. But I just didn't agree with him that is what Project Fear are doing. I don't think it is. Yeah. But it was an interesting watch, because he did show how that would happen and how to do it and stuff. So it's cool.
Yeah, well, he is my favourite, and I will say that when he actually does, he started investigating now, because people were like, well, you've not been out yourself, and so now, and when he goes out, he genuinely buys all the equipment that he slags off, and he's like, yeah, but you never know, do you? You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's like, I'll give it a go, and he really is eager to catch it, and he's very respectful, and, he doesn't go to take the piss. He's like, well, I want to see a ghost. I'm just saying that, unfortunately, they're probably not. So he's got a beautiful balance of, don't get me wrong, I'd love to I want to catch a ghost, because I want to know, oh, God, I were wrong. But he's like, but YouTubers, I guess we're in that bag, TV programmes, they've got a job to do, as we say, that you've got to entertain, and, otherwise you'd be obscurity like us,
Yeah. I might start watching him then.
Honestly, you want to give him more than just... He's not just, I'm a cynical twat, you know what I mean? There's a few I could nudge you onto. And he's really good at testing the equipment, and so, yeah, he honestly will break it down as much as he can, and he'll be like, I just don't... Like we do. I just don't buy it, so... Anyway, Lucy, thanks for giving me your evening, and we've got 2 more to go.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
No worries. I'll see you then.
Bye.